but after about 5 minutes after the screen goes dark, when you hit it again, the screen, like the backlight comes on, but nothing else comes up.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, my screen just goes dead. And then it also won't fire. I literally, the only way to get around it too, and you can 5-tap, and it won't turn off. The only way to get around that is to literally pop the battery tray open, close it.
We are live.
And then, oh, we're live. Cool. Right on. Perfect.
It took a second, but for whatever reason.
Let me refresh, make sure.
I will.
Yeah, my Aegis Legend is all sorts of fucked up. We're not live yet on my end.
Okay.
No, me either.
Yeah.
Let's see here. It's weird. It's showing that I'm live on my end.
Let me refresh again.
On OBS or on
No,
YouTube?
on actual YouTube. It's showing that my stream health is like orange, but it's showing that we've been live for a minute now. A minute and 25. Now it says one person.
But is it actually showing all of us?
Yeah,
on your...
it's showing all three of us.
Yeah, it's not coming up for me though. Is anybody in chat right now? Are we live?
It says I got one person watching, but I don't know if that's literally me. Like if that's just me.
See, I still have the waiting for that guy Matt, and it says 4 waiting.
Try re-clicking on my channel because I think it's the same thing as last time. Like I made the whole title and everything, and then whatever happened, happened.
Oh, it's a different. Okay.
Yeah, it's a different. It went back to it's yeah.
Okay. Now
So
we're live. Woohoo!
I did have a driver that needed to be updated. That's what it was for whatever reason. I thought I had automatic updates.
Why can't? Why? What? What? Why is it not coming up for me?
I hate that it's not. I've had issues with trying to get the actual title. It looks good on your end, right, Shane?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're there.
Okay.
Oh, not me though.
You should, if you go to like my channel, Logan, it should show that that we're live. I re-edited the title and everything, so it may not be under like the event that I had originally posted, but it should show that I'm live, or at least that's what I'm seeing.
Oh, here we go. It just came up. It just came up. All right, there we are.
All right, cool.
Okay.
So.
Cool.
Yay.
Hopefully people transition over. I don't know why I'm gonna stop doing like the whole scheduling event, and I'm just gonna like post it on social media and then just go live on YouTube,
I don't know.
like,
it doesn't seem to want to work for you.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's probably just me. It's user error. So all right, welcome to whoever's here. I want to thank Logan and Shane, of course, special guest Shane, for coming by, hanging out, doing the whole talkie action.
Not only does Shane talkie the talkie, but he also walkies the walkie.
I try to.
Shane just there like, that's right, I do.
He does.
All right.
He does indeed.
As I pour this beer here, I think I want to pass it off to Shane and do the cliche,
that was like,
the crisp. You heard that?
That was like almost like what is that? What is that called? I can't think of the acronym now. So like the silent the noises, the really quiet videos people make.
Oh, ASMR,
Oh,
dude. That was
ASMR.
That was
Thank you. It was like almost ASMR quality.
So I guess we can start out with a cliche vape buffet, and then we'll do a little what we're drinking. I'm gonna pass it off to our awesome guest, Shane. What are you vaping on? What are you drinking if you're drinking?
Well, thank you for allowing me to be here with you guys. You know, I love the advocacy, love both of you guys, and put all this together, and it's going to be great. So I've got my Red Dreamer with the drop in there. Got the best banana liquid ever.
Oh man,
Bolu.
The bala bula bala bulu.
Yeah. Walla bula. I got the Black Drop Dead on the Mr. Just Right mod.
Nice.
In there, I've got the Wicked Berry from Paradigm. And then the White Dreamer with the Axial black button.
Oh, nice. That black button.
Yeah.
That black button, though.
Yep. The Parade Maker from IVC.
Nice. I gotta try some IVC liquids, man. I hear they're phenomenal.
Got my Caliburn.
Oh, yeah.
With,
I got mine taped to my wrist.
Yeah, the Solace Mint. And then I have my Unity with the Shogun and merge transmission.
Oh, how is that merge transmission? Is that actually the hype?
You are asking the right guy if you want to know how that is.
I've been vaping that since probably every day since maybe June of last year, and I'm never without a bottle.
It's that good. What's the flavor profile now? It's strawberry lemonade, is it, or strawberry?
Yeah, strawberry lemonade with a hint of watermelon, and you just get a little bit of watermelon on the exhale, but you get good lemon and good strawberry. It's like a really good mix. One doesn't overpower the other.
That's what I was just about to ask, because I feel like the lemon always overpowers, or it's always such a strong note of lemon, and then the other flavors are usually like minuscule or just very weak.
Yeah, no, you get a lot of strawberry. You get the lemon on the exhale, and then the strawberry comes in right after that, and then it's watermelon on the exhale. So the last one I got is my Overlord with the Drop Dead.
Blacked out.
Shamrock Cookie.
That Shamrock Cookie, I feel like...
What is that drip tip on there? Is that a DHD?
No, that's off the Ardent.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's just a little clear.
I thought it was a little DHD chop top action. Yeah. There.
For a second, I thought that was like the flake drip tip, the AG Plus from the Passage, like a quick camera shot. I thought that was. I think I have it over here. I thought it was like this tip here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
that's all I've got. Well, I'm drinking Diet Mountain Dew.
There you go, Diet. Yeah, buddy.
Is it still Diet Mountain Dew if you drink the whole 2 liter?
Well, no. I mean, I pour it in a cup. I don't drink that in a cooler.
What's that cup hold? 1 liter?
32 ounces.
There you go.
I'll take a liter cola. Take a liter cola.
Yep.
Speaking of sodas, gotta love it when you go to a restaurant, you ask for Coke, and they're like, "Is Pepsi okay?"
Yeah.
Something that just boils you.
No,
if I wanted,
not okay.
No. Yeah.
I demand that you walk your ass down the street and get me a Coke. That is real service. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, Shane, you can pass it off to whoever you'd like.
Oh, Logan, go ahead.
Okay. All right. My
so disinterested in this.
Well, I gotta. You're putting me up after Shane here, and his buffet was absolutely glorious. It was just mech tube city, and it was phenomenal. Mine's not nearly as impressive, but I do have a Dreamer, and I've got a Goon 1.5 sitting on top of there. I've got that loaded up with some Blueberry Jam Monster.
Oh, nice.
I've got my Berserker 1.5 sitting here with some Raspberry Lemonade from I don't know what company. Sitting on a little single 18650 Limitless mod, the Redemption mod. I've got my little Tabino Wismec BF box combo.
Nice.
I've got some Pacamama in there, some Passion Fruit Raspberry Yuzu.
Oh yeah, that's right, the Yuzu, yeah.
And then I've got my Caliburn as well. I've got some Black Solace orange cream, like a creamsicle.
UL is in the house heavy tonight.
And then I've also got the Frank.
That's quite the buffet.
This is Smock's new mod. It takes every coil type they've ever made.
Cat's like, put me down, man.
But it doesn't vape. It just plays with the coils.
Oh, okay.
But it will accept every coil type that Smoke has ever made. I'm drinking on, I'm going to crack this hazy little thing IPA.
Nice.
Open from Sierra Nevada, so let's see if we can get a little ASMR action.
That was pretty crisp. Oh. And the finale.
Oh, just like an eargasm. I'm gonna take a note out of Grim Green's book here, and I'll pour it right over my keyboard.
Somebody screen record this so we can see the spill action happen.
Oh God, that was close.
I thought you did that on purpose.
You said spill action, bro, and my fingers were just like, okay. I was like, I am legitimately gonna spill this beer.
Look at that nice little, with that little golden hazy action going on.
Yeah, that looks good.
Gotta get a little head on there.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
There you go. That is the
rest in peace to your mustache. I don't have that problem.
The hazy little thing. Oh yeah, dude.
And
you gotta drink through the head like a man, though.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with a little head.
This is a big head.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, but it's so worth it. So worth it. It's a phenomenal beer. I saved this beer specifically for this stream from last week.
And it tastes better. I guarantee it.
And it tastes amazing. Absolutely amazing. And with that, I will pass it on to the man himself,
so,
Matt.
The weakest buffet here. Glad I went last. I got the I got my Monarch, of course, with that stainless passage RDA on top. Nolly Designs Pro Series drip tip. Really in love with those. And
Pro XL V2
something special.
LE.
I gotta say, I'm enjoying this style tip better than the the average. I don't know, it's nice. And on the inside of that, I got some Hulk tears.
Hulk tears. Bruce Banner is crying right now.
Right. He cried to fill this bottle, and then got the Dead Goat on top of that topside single. Not Boule, but I got a banana liquid in there, and it's all right.
I'm the only one not in Banana Land tonight.
Yeah, no Banana Land, and
nobody invited me to Banana Land.
That's all I'm vaping on. Well, I mean, I got the amulet. I mean, I got the uni loop inside of that. But besides that, I just got a little. It's just the tulip is treehouse, but I'm drinking some of that lovely Sam Adams New England IPA. Been on a kick of these.
Nice.
So
Sam Adams makes good beers.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
I was saying,
Fat Tire.
Fat Tire's phenomenal.
Tire, yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I drink a lot of Sierra Nevada and a lot of Southern Tier. But Southern Tier is from here in New York. It's fairly local.
Yeah. I gotta say.
I also drink a lot of Big Ditch, which is right out of Buffalo.
Cheers to you, boys. Oh, yeah. Get that Diet Mountain Dew up there. Oh, wow. Look at that head. That's HD right there.
Look at that. HD quality haze.
So if anybody's watching, whoever's here, if I guess probably asked for this kind of late, but if we could just make sure everybody sounds good, if you could just let us know everybody's sounding all right, nobody's too quiet over somebody else, that would be much appreciated. I think we worked out.
I'm usually super quiet.
I was just about to say, I think we worked out Logan's sound last week. But yeah.
Thanks to Matt, he's been fiddling with settings and doing all this stuff and making sure that people can hear all the nonsense that comes from me.
That's don't put those last words in my mouth, buddy. None of that's nonsense.
Yep.
So yeah, Logan, double feature today, man. You must be getting tired, huh?
No, man.
Fired up. No, you're fired up.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, last night, Corey Poonsauce McNasty reached out to me, DM me, and asked me if I would be available to do a show today, and I was like, yeah, man, absolutely. And I thought that I wasn't sure what day that he did, like his What's in the News stuff and things like that, so I thought that that's what we were going to be doing. I thought I was going to be on What's in the News, and we were going to talk stuff. So I was like, what topics do you have? And he's like, we're doing a What's Your Story? And I was like, oh, dude, I'm pretty well versed in that, so I'm glad I don't have to catch up on things or refreshing any research. So yeah, it was a good time. It's a good time. He asked a lot of really good questions, and hopefully, you know, it resonated with some people and whatever. So yeah, I think it was a good show. I really like Corey.
I'm starting to get involved in, like, you know, subscribing and whatnot to so many awesome people in the community, and I'm finding that it's harder and harder to keep up with all these awesome shows.
Yeah,
like
I catch the live streams more than like people's. I don't watch reviews anymore. I couldn't tell you the last time I watched a product review. Other than, like, I'll catch Matt's reviews. There's a few select people that I'll still watch, but even I don't watch every one of Matt's reviews. You know, but I do try to keep up with some of that. But for the most part now, I just try to keep up with the live streams.
I have a lot more.
When I can.
I have a lot more fun, and I feel like I get a lot more of an impact going on with these live streams, and then watching other people's live streams as far as news and advocacy goes. Reviews.
Can you guys hear him purring?
No, I can't hear him purring. He looks very friendly though. Oh, Saddle Horse is in the chat. Hey, Saddle Horse. Glad you made it.
Saddle Horse Blues. Shane and Brandy from up in Canada are two of my just absolutely favorite people.
From Canada.
From Canada, and they have a little bit of a summer sale going on their website right now. Pick up 2 sets of their coils, and you'll get a 3rd set free.
I think I saw that
last night.
I didn't see how long that sale lasted. How long is that?
I think it's going till Sunday, I believe.
That's awesome. That sounds great.
So yeah, big shout out to Saddle Horse. Phenomenal coils. I've got a set of their aliens in the goon right now.
I don't know if Poon Sauce made it out to this stream, but I wanted to. I caught the tail end of while you were over there, Logan, and I wanted to just reach out to him and tell him thank you, you know, for the shout out and everything like that. Loving everything that he's doing as far as advocacy and news and all that good stuff. I don't get to keep up with everybody. I mean, you know, Weekend Wisdom's got 2 shows going on a week now. You know, you got the weekday and the weekend. So it's like I was trying to keep up with one, and then they're like, you know what, we're not satisfied. We want to do a weekday Wisdom. Keep you guys. There's so much going on. I want to keep you guys, you know, in the know and everything.
There's so much news out there. It's hard to cram everything into an hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Is that what inspired you to just to do the weekday Wisdom as well? Was just because you guys weren't getting through everything on the weekend? Is that?
Well, there's also so much more that comes out during the week. Something may come out Monday, and then by the time Saturday rolls around, there's 10 other new things that came out.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense to do something like during midweek, because, like you said, so much is coming out all the time now that not only would there be so much more news, but it could be essentially kind of like old news, so to speak. You know, you have so much coming out during the week, you know.
Yeah, I mean, flavor bans and, you know, vaping bans and smoking bans and all that other stuff is just, I mean, it's just blowing up all over. And we knew it was going to.
Yeah.
We knew it would just resonate. Right. It would just pour out to every city across America.
So when I point out that Saddle Horse said, Sunday at midnight, he said, thanks so much for the mention. No problem. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being active in chat. We like seeing that.
And Saddle Horse is also they're part of the my Discord, the Resin Vape Discord.
Over there,
and they're phenomenal.
Yeah,
they're absolutely phenomenal. So
if you guys are here, we definitely appreciate you hitting that like button. It means a lot to me. People being active in the chat, we appreciate that. But yeah, quick shout out for the Discord. Hit up Logan and get in our Discord. Awesome community, awesome people. Shane's in there. I don't know if I don't know if Jay's watching, good old Texas Cloud Town, but he's in there. A bunch of other awesome people are in there.
He just texted me and said, he just texted me and said if you want him to come in, he will.
Oh, dude, we could do a In the Clouds Weekend Wisdom. I thought he was doing something. I thought that was
He's on vacation. He's at the beach.
Oh, you tell Jay to just enjoy his vacation. Jay, enjoy your vacation.
If you're watching this, Jay, enjoy it.
Take the time. Go get your feet wet.
Yeah.
Go hang out at the beach.
Drink.
Take a breath. You're an advocacy maniac. You deserve You deserve your vacation.
Yeah, enjoy the drinks that we saw you having. We saw you having some drinks.
I'm going to tell you no. Okay? I'm going to tell you no. I'm going to say no. You are not welcome on this show today because you are enjoying your vacation. Enjoy it.
We will get a nice.
We all deserve a vacation sometimes.
We will get a nice collab show going on. We will get a weekend,
Absolutely.
a weekend
There
in
will
the
be
clouds with some wisdom. You know, however you want to mash that up.
Yeah,
we will get a in the
call
clouds.
it like cloudy wisdom, cloudy weekend wisdom.
We will do a in the wisdom clouds, whatever you want to call it. We will.
We'll all just be high as shit. That'll be the cloudy weekend wisdom. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll call it in the cloud of wisdom. You know, we'll figure out something.
Yeah.
Just got off the boat and at the house. There you go. Get something, crack open something, sit back, watch us do what we do. So this week's topic is Juul, the Juul hearings that went on probably a couple weeks ago now, maybe is it 2 or going on 3? Probably
they happened on July 24th and 25th.
Yeah. So that's almost 2 weeks ago now, something right around there. I can't even do simple math.
Yeah, I think it's 3 weeks.
Yeah, about 2 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks or so now. Yep.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna share the videos, the links to the videos in chat.
Awesome. Definitely appreciate that. I should have put that in the description. Count on Logan to save me.
That is all right, man. I am here. I will save the day. So I'll share those. Forewarning to everybody. They are long.
I was just about to say, you want to make sure you got, this has to be like a weekend thing. This can't be, I have like 10 minutes to try and,
Yeah, no, you've got about 2 hours worth each video. There's two days, 2 videos. So those are both the links to part 1 and part 2 of the Juul hearing, which I have watched through twice now, and the second time was way worse than the first time because it's just like torture. Like I knew what I was about to rewatch, and I knew how cringy and brutal it was.
I think somebody else mentioned that, but can we start out by discussing how the government doesn't have proper cameras that can do 16:9 resolution, like, full screen? Can we talk? Can we just discuss?
Dude, they don't have anything. We're talking about a government. If you watch this, dude, we're talking about a government that literally just has no understanding of vaping and what's going on.
Part 2 was 3.5 hours, if I'm correct, and if I remember correctly, which I got through half of part 2, which is mainly why I wanted Logan to take point on this, because I didn't get to finish part 2. But if I'm correct, like the first hour and 25 minutes of part 2, there was nothing going on. And then after that, when they finally did get going, they bickered for I want to say legitimately at least 5 minutes, if not longer, about why the panels were where they were and what was happening. And,
yeah, they were all uptight.
And I just want to start out by saying that chairman, man, just
the head chairman he's a piece of work, man.
Bring 4 or 5 hours of time with you. Bring a roll of duct tape. Shane, I think you said you've been busy the last few weeks or whatever. So when you do get time to sit down and watch this, I'm sure you won't get time enough to watch both of them because we're talking a lot of hours there. But do yourself a favor, plan out plenty of time, get a roll of duct tape, a pair of scissors or whatever, and just do yourself a favor. Tape your mouth and put a straitjacket on because you're gonna want to be screaming and punching and all that. When you watch these,
there were moments where I was literally screaming at my phone. Yeah. It's one thing to watch any kind of congressional hearing or anything like that. Like if you've ever tried to sit down and watch anything on C-SPAN, it's one thing to watch that, but it's a whole nother thing to watch one guy try to defend his life-saving product to a group of people that basically are only there to shit on him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I don't think I've ever felt for Juul quite as much as I did for that straight hour. And I don't regularly feel for Juul. I've always just kind of been, I could take it or leave it with Juul. I understand what they've done. for people. And as far as harm reduction goes, I don't agree with every one of their methods, but I also don't think that they should go anywhere. You know, I think Juul has a place. But to just sit and watch, you know, if you watch part 2 and you watch them talk to James Monsees, which is, and don't quote me, he's not the CEO. I believe he's like the chief product officer or something like that. But he is a co-founder as well. So he's a co-founder of Juul. And he tries so hard to answer the absurd questions that they're asking, and try to defend his company respectfully, and these people just berate him.
Yeah, I mean, I have a quote,
and it's just a show of political grandstanding. Yeah, I mean, each panel member gets 5 minutes to ask their questions, and they'll ask a question, and they'll literally give this guy like 4 seconds to answer, and then they'll be like, okay, well, I'm running out of time, so, and then they'll move on to another question, and all the questions are like, did you knowingly market to children? And he's like, well, you know, our original marketing strategy was for ages 25 to 40 or whatever he says there. And they're like, okay, well, I'm running out of time. So, you know, did you knowingly give cancer-causing, like, and it's just these ridiculous questions, and they don't understand it. And then they go on to ask this guy, like, you know, have you done funding and all, or done your own research? And, like, he's trying to explain, like, you know, we've done research. We also have all of this other research that's already been done on vapor products. And, like, you know, these people don't even understand that nobody wants to take Juul's funding for research. Like, that's a big thing in the scientific community right now, is for Juul to pay to have its own product researched. Like, nobody wants to do it, and then B, the companies that do it, and the colleges and stuff that do that research funded by Juul get nothing but scrutiny for it, and then they don't count it anyway because it's a conflict of interest.
What I find interesting.
So it's such a loaded question. Like, they ask him this, and it's like, yes, they do, but nobody wants to do the research because all you've done is shit on my company.
Mm-hmm.
I want to point out how
they literally use questions to set him up to fail, and it's a struggle to watch.
Exactly. Kind of just want to like add on to like what you're saying. I want to definitely point out, like, if you've watched and you've already seen this, but Mr. Monsees is very, like, you know, he's very open about everything. Like, you know, he said, like, we've certainly made missteps. I understand the criticism of some of our past, but we moved on very quickly. He's very open about everything, and go on to say that, you know, they didn't want any non-nicotine users using this product. But let me just say that this panel, you know, these committee members, they just basically exactly what you were saying was they just slam him with the most brutal questions, and then, like, when he tries to answer and give like an actual, you know, like a lengthy answer that is like a good answer, they just slam him and say, yep, well, you're taking up too much of my time, so if you can't, you know, answer, I have other questions I need to ask. And it's just,
it's and then every you know, basically at the end of every question, they're like, well, we hope that you'll write us with a response. And it's like, you're spending your whole 5 minutes asking these questions, not allowing him to speak, and then basically asking for private answers to the questions that you publicly berated this man with. Mm-hmm. And if that doesn't throw up a red flag for people, I don't know what does, because it's a major red flag for me. Like, you're setting it up to use all of your time so that way he can't publicly defend his company, and then you'll force him to answer in private in letters that you probably won't ever share.
Yeah, well, we expect that in writing. If you can't answer right now, we expect that in writing. You know, like that's what they were hammering.
You know, his answers will never get into the news. They won't be like publicly talked about. So you'll never actually get the honesty from this guy.
Yeah, and what's going to get in the news is a headline that's going to say Monsees did not answer, you know, questions or whatever. It'll be more specific than that, but he'll get slammed for not being able to answer question at hearing, you know, needed to report in writing. That's the kind of shit that gets out, not the fact that this guy had 10 seconds to defend like a 10-minute discussion on a question. It really
is just sickening to watch. And it's like, why even hold this? hearing other than like a political show of force. That's all it is. You know, it's a PR political dog and pony show, so that way they can berate this guy, make him and his company look like this evil entity, not give him any time to defend themselves, and then, you know, they'll say whatever later on to shit on him further.
Yeah.
You know, and it's...
I think we...
Like normal... They're going to treat it kind of like normal media, and they're just going to take a sentence out of it and put that in a headline. You know, they're going to take one sentence out of context, and that's what they're going to use against the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the articles, the next article I wanted to share on this, which is from khn.org. I'm just waiting for it to load up. One of the questions they brought up about Juul had funded summer programs to teach kids healthy habits, and they had paid schools $10,000 to come and talk to students. I don't obviously know, there's no like hard footage or evidence other than hearsay from like you know, the kids basically that Pave brought with them on the first day to talk about this, and the kids talk about how he came to the school, gave this big speech, you know, about it, and told the kids that it was safe and all this. Now, it wasn't James Monsees that did this, but a representative from Juul that came to these schools and like talked to these kids about how like safe vaping was. And it's one of those things that could be really misconstrued. Like, if Juul had done this, were they doing it as a way to try to get youth to either A, pick up vaping? Was that their, you know, shady marketing or whatever that they did? Or was it a way to reach kids who might be concerned about their parents? And so they could go home and tell their parents, hey, look, you know, we learned about, you know, how terrible your smoking habit is, and these people have this thing that'll help you stop. Like, what was the actual intent and how did it go down? Like, there's no videos, you know, of this representative at a school talking to kids. Like, there's none of that to go off of. There's no hard evidence to show what the intent or the programs were or how they were laid out or what they actually did. It's all just, you know, hearsay.
I want to jump in real quick and just, I love people who are active in the chat. I want to point out that Jay, a little while ago, said absolute bullshit. Luke Aitken, he said he couldn't even watch it. Thanks for coming out, Luke. Definitely a new face in the chat. And then Saddle Horse Blue said, sounds like they had an agenda beforehand and were only looking for sound bites. And I definitely got to point out, there was beyond an agenda. You know, everybody obviously had the most aggressive questions pointed right out there.
There are a few panel members that kind of, I don't want to necessarily like defend Juul, but they kind of ask more honest questions. Like,
yeah, there was a gentleman, an older gentleman, I forget his name, but he was like, he basically like got right to the point. He's like, I want to know. He's like, is this like a safer alternative? Are people quitting using this method? And I think that might have been in part 1. I forget. It's horrible. I apologize, but I forget his name. But I liked him. He was very stern. He was an older gentleman. He was just right to the point. Like, is this a cessation method? Are people actually using this? Like, is this actually working? And Logan, I think you know. I don't know if you know her name, but the other woman that was kind of on the same path was basically...
Yeah, no, I can't keep all their names straight.
I don't remember her name, but she went on to tell a story about how she used to have to empty ashtrays, if I was correct. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember her. Yep.
And she was very more of like, not just so much like negative, like, do you admit to advertising towards children? Like, that's like, she was more like, you know, same kind of thing. Like, is this a safer alternative? Are people actually using this? Like,
and
what about
I
this?
do want to say it was pretty entertaining to watch James Monsees basically when he was asked stuff like that. Like, his first response was, "Am I allowed to say that here?"
Yeah.
Because as we all know, like, he's the co-founder of Juul. They can't make cessation claims. They can't make modified risk claims or health claims. And so his first instinct was like, am I allowed to say that here? And they gave him free reign. They're like, you know, this is a judicial or a congressional hearing. Like, you can say that here. You can't make it public. You can't advertise health claims, but you can say that here. You know, and he goes on to talk about the Royal College of Physicians study. He goes on to talk about the American Journal of Medicine studies, you know, and things like that. And they ask him too, they're like, you know, how many people have quit with the Juul? And he's like, that's a really hard question, like, to narrow down exactly how many people have successfully quit with the Juul. Like, you can't answer that, honestly.
Now, I know we're talking about part 1 and part 2, not to, like, get anybody confused. Oh, Logan just flipped. Anybody see that? Logan's spinning here. Looks like he's frozen
Sideways
at the moment.
Logan.
He looks like he's frozen at the moment on my screen. But I just wanted to say, I know we're jumping from part 1 to part 2 here, but I wanted to point out, hopefully Logan comes back because I'm sure he'll want to discuss this, about how, you know, Mr. Monsi's discussed how they removed all their flavors, all these other flavors, and how they're still available on the website, and how, you know, the only flavors now, unless it's some kind of a ripoff, should be just the Virginia tobacco and then their menthol. And he goes on to say in part 2 that, you know, he wasn't required, that he saw and heard all the outcries, I guess, if you will, and they made the call to remove these flavors. So I want to try and re-invite Logan here. I see that he looks like he completely dropped out.
His phone died.
Oh, did he message you?
Yeah, no, it's in the chat.
Oh.
He said my phone died.
Oh man.
But one thing I wanted to point out.
Yeah, I was hoping that you'd.
I have a very strong opinion, especially on any closed pod system. Not the Caliburn, you know, anything like that. I know UL just came out with the Yearn. That's it's a great, you know, from what I understand, it's a great pod system.
I was just about to say I've heard good things about this Yearn.
But here is how I see a pre-filled pod system. And I look at Medicaid the same way. It's a lifeboat. It's something to get you from cigarettes to vaping. After that, you know, you don't need to move up to where we are as hobbyists, but you're going to want something more.
Yeah.
You know, that's where a sub-ohm tank comes in. You know, you can't just stay on the high nicotine. You have to start weaning yourself down. Yeah. And that comes down to personal responsibility and common sense. That is two superpowers. The way I see it, that is two superpowers that a lot of people don't have. You know, I've been, you know, hey man, I'm doing good. I quit smoking. I've been using this for almost a year now. So you've been doing 50 milligrams of nicotine all day long for almost a year.
Yeah.
No, you have to take that personal responsibility to wean yourself down to 3, 6, even if you go to 6. You know, get away from salt nick. I don't dog salt nick. I still use one salt nick is all I use, and everything else I've transferred over. You know, if I wanted, you know, when I'm running this little Amit MTL, I run 12 milligram 50/50 in it.
Yep.
You know, simply because I wanted to get away from salt nick. So, but back to subject here. I kind of get rambly sometimes.
That's all right.
The closed pod systems need to be treated like that lifeboat. It's just to get you from A to B. It's not something that you should continuously use all the time, every day.
There he is. He's back.
Hey, he's back.
Now that Logan's back, I'm going to disappear.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes.
Now that you're back, I'm going to disappear real quick and use the bathroom. Shane, you can basically catch him up to speed. You guys can discuss.
I was listening. You were talking about like long-term use of high nicotine.
Yeah, and just closed pod systems in general. You know.
Yeah, I mean, one, price is huge when we're talking about closed pod systems. It's not. It's not. I don't know. It's not like financially a good idea to just remain with a closed pod system, because you're paying an astronomical amount for your e-liquid for one. So it's not cost effective by any means. Yeah. And second, like as far as high nicotine use, the threshold for nicotine consumption is significant. You know, it's well over. I don't know the exact science, but it's, you know, upwards of like 500 milligrams in a short period of time.
Right.
For the average like full-grown adult to like actually overdose on nicotine. So even at a Juul pod, which I know they claim, you know, Juul pods are 5% or like 59 point something milligrams per milliliter. A Juul pod is only 0.7 milliliters.
Right.
And there's technically only about 41 milligrams of nicotine in a Juul pod. It's like 41 or 42. Right. And when we're talking about comparing that to a pack of cigarettes, where each cigarette on average is about 10 milligrams of nicotine. On the low end, they range at about 8. On the high end, they range up to about 12. So about 10 on average per cigarette. 20 cigarettes per pack. There's 200 milligrams in a pack. There's only 41 milligrams of nicotine in a Juul pod. So the entire argument of 1 Juul pod equals a pack of cigarettes is garbage for one.
And it's funny because
such a
like
standard argument.
You've heard so much more
garbage.
too, especially recently. They'll say a pack and a half, or I recently saw something on Twitter like outrageous, like a 1 Juul pod is equivalent. Yeah, carton. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It was something outrageous, and everybody was like, okay, so we went from like a pack to somebody saying a pack and a half, and now we're at a carton. So it's
the whole argument to start with is garbage.
Yeah.
And 2, when we're talking about even smoking, so you have a 10 milligram cigarette, whatever, you only absorb into your blood about 1 to 2 milligrams of that nicotine,
which is dependent upon so many factors. You know what I mean? It's dependent on you know, how drag length, burn factor in between puffs, and so on and so forth. But you go on, Logan.
and part of that nicotine actually literally cooks off through burning. So you end up only absorbing about 1 to 2 milligrams per pack. So if we were absorbing 100% of the nicotine from a Juul, which we don't, anyway, I guess that's where you could get close to saying that 1 pack equals a Juul. But even then, you know, those waters are real gray. You know, it's
right.
It's not accurate. Period. I mean, nothing that Truth and everybody says is accurate anyway. But
I think where that came from was Juul saying a pod should last you as long as a pack of cigarettes will last you. I think that's where it came from, and I think people are taking it and twisting it.
Twisted into so many things.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, through the average day, you might end up breaking into a new Juul pod, but you're probably only going to realistically consume a Juul pod. And if we go back like 6 months, do you remember all the arguments where everybody was claiming that kids were vaping like 5 pods a day?
Yeah.
And some insanity. And one, it's like, where the fuck are they getting the money, to buy all these Juul pods? 5 Juul pods a day? What? A pack of 4 Juul pods is what, like $20?
Yeah, $17.
We're talking about $20 a day on Juul pods, 7 days a week. You're at $140 already.
That's a lot. You know,
a week?
A week, yeah.
If you've got kids that are vaping that much, you need to fucking stop giving them money. That's the parents' problem. Like, if you're giving your kids $100 a week, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You know, so like, where does it come from? And you know, anything sold on the black market, even if these 18-year-olds are going into C-stores or whatever and buying Juul pods and then selling them to kids, it's not gonna be $20 for a 4-pack. That's what they paid.
Yeah.
That 18-year-old is going to charge this kid $25 or $30 for that 4-pack.
Yeah, they're going to.
So then that number goes
for $10
absolutely.
a pod.
Who fucking wouldn't?
Yeah.
I don't know if people understand what the black market is or how it works, but it's not free. There's always a profit to be made.
Yeah.
So even these 18-year-old kids, like, I just don't understand people's logic when it comes to this. Where are these kids getting the money to afford this astronomical habit? In hindsight, I haven't heard that argument recently. I feel like it was one that people really caught on and were like, this has got to be bullshit, right? Like, enough people were like, this is bullshit, so they stopped making that argument, which seems to be the trend with Truth and with PAVE and with Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, is that they basically just throw everything at the wall and they see what sticks. And if it doesn't stick, they abandon that narrative and they move on to something else. And whatever they can get to stick, they'll stick with.
I want to ask a question, and this is for both of you, mainly because like you guys are both so knowledgeable, and I like value your guys' opinion, so to speak. So I was talking to Shane about this a little bit while you were having your flip or wherever, you threw your phone against the wall because you were so sick of us or whatever was going on.
Man. It died.
So I was talking to Shane about how in the second video, the second hearing, I guess, how Mr. Monsees went on to talk about how, I think we mentioned this earlier, how all the other flavors had been pulled, and now he goes on to say, like, there was nothing that required him to pull the flavors. He heard the, I don't know any other way to describe it other than, I guess, like, outcry.
Criticism,
besides Virginia tobacco and menthol, which I think we mentioned earlier. But I want to know what you guys think. Aside from advertising and whatever else Juul is getting hammered for, I want to know what you guys think about them pulling their flavors from stores other than their official website. Never mind the whole black market of, Juul pods that are out there. I want to know what you guys think as far as like a company move, like if that was basically just what you guys think on it.
I think it was smart. I think they were trying to be proactive. I think they were trying to, comply, basically, for something they didn't have to comply to. But it's one of those things that, like, no, they didn't have to. They thought it was the responsible thing. Juul also, James Monsees, goes on to talk about how if you do want to buy their other flavors, their mango, their creme brulee, that you have to buy it through Juul. The only place other than a convenience store online to buy a Juul product is through Juul. And if you're buying a Juul product anywhere else online, it's not like officially it's black market essentially. Yeah. And they go on to talk about their innovative, state-of-the-art age verification process and all the steps that they've taken and everything else. And I don't know, I think it was smart to pull their flavors.
Which hurts business if you think about it, you know what I mean? Like, pulling all their flavors.
Yeah, that's one thing that he talks about.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big, flavors are, there is so much in advocacy going on about how, flavors are what make people quit, you know what I mean? And then he goes ahead and pulls flavors. I mean, well, we can discuss how the chairman is hell-bent on how mint is a flavor, and kids love mint, and he almost gets red in the face in the hearing. But
he's very adamant that the youth are very drawn towards mint.
I think we need to recognize a proactive move as far as Juul as pulling these other flavors and having whatever kind of verification process it is on their official website, and basically acknowledging how if people are obtaining it anywhere else, I don't want to say it's illegal, but it's not through them, so it's not legitimate. It's
out of their hands.
Exactly.
It's not legitimate. It's not. Yeah, it's not.
As far as a company perspective, I definitely want to point out clearly they care to an extent, you know what I mean? They're
to an extent.
They're hearing,
they're still a business.
Exactly.
They're here to make money.
Exactly. But at the same time, them pulling all these flavors from these stores, I don't know if he said it in the hearing, but you can only imagine. All we do is talk about flavors all the time, and then he pulls a bunch of flavors and only leaves.
Yeah, they pulled their best-selling flavor from convenience stores, which is the mango.
Which I just want to point out he wasn't required. To me it's a proactive move. He wasn't required, pulled it out, and it's crazy how he gets hammered in the hearing, and it's can we give the guy a little credit? They went ahead and pulled out whatever kind of verification process there is to buy all these other flavors. I started to buy things online where I have to take a selfie with my ID, and there is further things going on as far as verification. So besides the guy getting hammered and dealing with it, I want to point out that I think that give him a little credit for pulling these flavors, hearing these outcries and this epidemic. And
yeah, I mean, their website has been 21, I believe, since they started.
Yeah.
They're big advocates for tobacco 21, which I want people to understand and not take this the wrong way. I'm starting to lean towards being okay with tobacco 21 if it'll shut everybody up.
If it'll leave vaping alone and just quit all the barking.
Shut everybody up. Yeah. Like, at 18, I really wanted a beer too, but I had to wait till I was 21 to have a beer.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also think, if we're gonna go with 21, it should just be 21 across the board for everything.
I don't
believe in this pick and choose, this cherry pick bullshit. Joining the military when you're 18, voting when you're 18, being able to gamble when you're 18, getting car insurance when you're 18. Like, all of these things that you could do, be tried as a legal adult in a court of law at the age of 18, but yet you're still not able to consume alcohol or in legal states use cannabis or to vape or to smoke or whatever. Like, if we have to pick an age at which we say you are an adult and you're entitled to in America. This pick and choose bullshit is just garbage. It's just garbage, because when you're 18 and you're told you're a legal adult, you're going to start to develop the mindset of like, well, you know what? I'm just going to do this shit anyway because I'm an adult. I can move out of my house. I'm legally emancipated. I can go do whatever the fuck I want. I'm not going to wait till I'm 21. I'm a legal adult. I'm just going to do it anyway. So you've got a ton of, you've got a ton of kids at 18 go out and party. You know what I mean? Like college. Half the kids when they start college, they're 18. They're not 21. They're going to go drink and party. They're going to go do all this shit.
Yeah,
like, just pick an age. Just pick an age. Set it in stone and leave it there.
If it stops all the barking and everything that's going on, towards vaping, then yeah, make it happen. But I mean, they can't sit there and think that the success factor is going to be 100%. Like, yeah, once you got to realize, there's still, we all know that there's plenty of fucking high school house parties that go on with kids who are underage drinking. There's basically, you understand what I'm getting at. Kids are going to do, people who are underage are going to use things that they're not supposed to when they're underage. And, if they think that moving T21 is going to make it so nobody under 21 gets any kind of tobacco products, it's outrageous. But if that's what it takes for them to stop, then just make it happen. Make it T21. That's fine.
The only thing that T21 is going to do is make it harder for the 18-year-olds who are selling to underage kids at school. And
that's a really big point right there.
It's going to make it harder for them, but it's not going to stop. They're simply going to become the middleman, and there's going to be one more person involved, and it's going to jack the prices.
Yep.
So it might benefit in that sense that kids who were now paying $30 for a 4-pack of Juul pods, now that 18-year-old has to be the middleman, and he had to pay more from the 20 who sold it to him. Now that's going to cause, the price to increase for that 16-year-old, and now it might be $35, $40 for that 4-pack, and that might be too much. So I understand that logic. I understand that reasoning. But at the end of the day, I got 30 packs when I was 15. We were partying and drinking 30 packs of Keystone Light when I was 15, and it was still 21 to buy booze then. So to think that it's going to stop them is naive and irresponsible.
Oh yeah,
right.
But I truly do think that it will limit some of it. It will curb some of it, but it will not stop it. Right. By no means.
Yeah,
that's a pipe dream.
It's going to put a dent in it, and hopefully that dent will be enough to keep the yaps away. But I want to give you my opinion on Juul pulling their flavors real quick.
Please do, yeah.
I can understand it was a proactive move. I understand why they did it, but I think how they did it was a mistake. It was almost like they came out and said...
It made them look guilty.
Exactly. And it also was a bad look for the rest of the vaping community. You know, we're pulling our
we all know Juul doesn't give a shit about the vaping community.
Right.
Oh, no.
First and foremost, they have nothing to do with the vaping community.
They only care what's in their best interest.
Right. And I think just the way they handled it was it put everybody else in a bad light. And it gave the antis so much more traction for flavor bans, vaping bans, sales, online sales. You know, that gave them so much more traction to build on for everything that's happening right now. So I think if they would have handled it in a little bit of different way, you know, came out and said, hey, we're under a lot of scrutiny for everything that's going on. So what we're going to do is pull our flavors simply because the light is shining so bright on us right now. To save our company, we're going to have to pull these back.
Yeah, and James Monsees has a part of this hearing where he talks about how they want to be the example for other companies to follow, and how they want to be, you know, an example of how the vapor industry should conduct themselves. Which, again, you know, he's just trying to play nice and come up and say, you know, this is what we've done, you know, because we're such a responsible company, because we're, you know, and it's one of those interesting things where, like, he's trying to turn the narrative on its head, which they're already turning the narrative on its head, and it's just this weird kind of dichotomy of things that happen in that hearing, where you hear the same argument being presented in both a pro and anti-fashion.
Right.
And it's really weird to see, like, literally to watch and see an argument like, is it true that your Juuls have the equivalent of 20 cigarettes? And he's like, well, yes, we've designed the Juul to basically replace a pack of cigarettes for smokers. And they're, like, angry about that. Like, antis focus on that like it's such a negative thing. But it's designed specifically for that reason, to replace a pack of cigarettes.
Right.
Like, that's a positive thing, and they've worked very diligently on making that a negative thing. And that whole thing really just, like, it's so insane to watch them actually, like, to hear it come from congressmen to this man, and, like, watch how he defends it. And you're like, anybody in the vapor industry is like, well, no they did it for a good reason. It's designed that way.
Right.
But then every anti is like, did you hear him admit it's 20 cigarettes worth of nicotine? And it's just like, it's like, have people forgotten that nicotine doesn't kill? Like, yes, nicotine poisoning is a thing. You too much water. For Christ's sake, let's get off the, you know, let's stop beating that dead horse. Like, people self-titrate their nicotine.
Right.
You're not going to vape yourself to nicotine poisoning. You would be hunched over the toilet, violently vomiting, and still vaping. Like, that is what you would have to go through to vape your way into nicotine poisoning. It's just unreasonable. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
So it's just insane that, like, that's the thing they focused on. Like, we've eliminated 7,000 chemicals. We left the chemical that doesn't cause cardiovascular disease, that doesn't cause lung cancer, that doesn't cause the death and disease that tobacco cigarettes cause. We left that chemical because that's what people smoke for. People smoke.
But we've heard it all. You're vaping petroleum and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like...
antifreeze. Antifreeze. I haven't heard the antifreeze thing in a while.
Yeah.
But,
oh, you'll hear it. I mean, seizures are resurfacing. And
I mean, Christ, I have the list of ingredients that's in the Nicotrol inhaler. The Nicotrol inhaler uses propylene glycol as its carrier liquid for you to inhale nicotine with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's FDA approved.
Yep. That is such a big thing.
And there's flavoring.
Yeah.
There's fucking flavoring in the Nicotrol inhaler. There's 2 flavors. There's a mint and a fruit. It's fruit flavored.
Yeah. But that's appealing to kids.
It appeals to kids. God damn it, mint.
Yeah, I know.
All these kids in their mint obsession. They all just want mint.
Mint is a flavor, and you didn't pull it. Whoa,
we were talking before the show.
I've said this before. Kids want this because it gives them a high. It gives them a buzz. That's why they want it. They could give
that's why I smoked.
What the flavors in there.
You know, that's what like when I first started smoking. I started smoking to be cool. You know,
yeah,
I think we all started smoking to look cool. That was the point. But like that head rush is what kept me at first. Like before I was like officially full on like addicted chemically to tobacco cigarettes. I smoked for that like head rush, that nicotine buzz, that as a smoker you eventually just don't get anymore.
Right.
You know, there's no head buzz anymore unless like you haven't had a cigarette in like a full day and then you get one. You might get a little nick buzz off of it. Yeah, these kids when they're picking up a Juul, it's the same thing as when they're picking up a cigarette. They're getting a nick buzz off it. Same thing.
It's just like
a flavored alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not drinking it because it tastes like cotton candy and whipped cream. They're drinking it because they want to get drunk.
Oh no! It's the colors, buddy. This green really did it for me.
Like we drank Keystone Light because they were $15 for a 30-pack, and it would get us drunk. Keystone Light doesn't taste good.
Oh.
You know, like there are people out there that will argue that Keystone Light tastes good, and they're wrong.
Yeah, but
Keystone Light doesn't taste good. Like, so, you know, I mean, we didn't care what it tasted like. We just wanted to get drunk.
Yeah.
Like, these kids don't give a shit that it tastes good or not. They're doing it because it affects them. It physically and mentally affects them. And it's a stimulant. It's the same reason why these kids are out power chugging, you know, Monster Energies and Red Bulls and stuff. They really could probably give a shit what it tastes like. Yeah, I'm sure that they enjoy the flavors of them. But the whole point is so that way they're all cracked out on 250 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the whole point.
And think about how much more dangerous that is for a teenager than nicotine.
You know, like I've pointed out, I think
one Rockstar. They have Rockstars now that are 300 milligrams of caffeine in a Rockstar.
Yep.
And any kid can just go into a store and buy it. And the other argument I've made about alcohol, sorry, Matt, I'm going to go on. The other thing I've made about alcohol in convenience stores, if I really wanted to, at the age of 12, I could have walked into a convenience store with nobody fucking seeing me, and I could have walked right over to that open beer cooler, and I could have fucking stuffed my pockets full of beers and walked out. It's not behind a counter. It's not watched by anybody. There's nothing. It's just in a fucking cooler in the back of the store. Like, in order for these kids to get Juuls or buy them, you know, at first they were claiming that all these stores were selling to underage kids, which is not the truth. Yes, there are stores that do. Absolutely. We have, you know, records showing and proving that. But that's not the majority of how these kids are getting these devices. They're not walking into a store and getting them off of a shelf. We put tobacco and nicotine behind a counter, but we don't put alcohol behind a counter. Why?
There's a sign on the door that says 21 and older in this door. There's no lock on it.
Right. That's it. Like, we don't put it behind a counter. Why? The percentage of teens in 2018 or 2017 or 2018, the last CDC report that I read, 30% of teenagers had reported drinking, and 14% of teenagers had reported binge drinking.
And let's just say that those are the ones that are admitting to it on a survey. Those are the ones that are openly like, you know,
admitting to it. When we're looking at even, you know, the real number to focus on when we're talking about the 2018 National Youth Tobacco Survey are the kids that reported vaping who did not previously use tobacco cigarettes, and they're regularly vaping past 30-day use. That percentage is so low. That percentage is incredibly low. It's like 1%. You look at alcohol. Look at alcohol. 30% reported using it in the past 30 days. 14% reported using it regularly.
Yeah. Yep.
What's more of a problem, 14% or 1?
Exactly.
Especially when we're talking about alcohol. We're talking about teenagers getting in cars and driving, or being in a car with somebody who's been drinking and driving. Teen death rates in alcohol-related accidents is a huge number, in the thousands every year. We're talking about alcohol, which is only one of 2 drugs on the planet where withdrawal can kill you. Alcohol withdrawal can kill you. Alcoholism is a very serious issue. And a lot of people, just like smokers, start drinking at a young age.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that problem escalates throughout the rest of their life.
I've seen it.
But we're turning a blind eye to this industry, the alcohol industry, which I'm not a prohibitionist. I don't want alcohol to go anywhere. I'm having a beer right now. But the hypocrisy in not addressing real issues and tackling this one is absolutely fucking asinine. I apologize for swearing so much. I apologize for my tangent, but I had to. It just drives me insane. It drives me insane.
No, you're good.
You're good.
Hashtag Logan rants.
I love it.
Hey,
I love
sometimes,
it.
sometimes,
we
man,
gotta
it just
throw that up in the chat. Hashtag
grinds my
rant.
gears, man. Grinds my gears.
Hashtag what really grinds my gears. Love it. So.
Yeah, it's just hypocritical, man. You know, it's just hypocritical.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, call it even across the board.
Yeah, 21. Just make it 21. Everything 21.
Compare it to this. My wife had 2 kids before we got married. I had 1, and we have 1 together. If one of them does something wrong, and the other one does something wrong, it's called across the board. It's wrong for you, and it's wrong for you.
Yeah.
It needs to be the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not her kids and my kids. They're our kids.
Right. So, my kids are not by blood my kids.
Right.
Everybody hears me talk about my kids. I love my kids. And by really any definition other than the fact that my dick didn't make them, they're my kids. I raise them. I feed them. I buy the clothes that go on their backs. I pay for the school supplies. I pay for the doctor visits. I pay for the sports. They're my kids. They live in my house by my rules and Becky's. Obviously, I'm not going to completely discount my girlfriend. But
oh, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? They see their dad a few times a month. You know what I mean? Which is a whole nother discussion that I'm not going to go into.
Just want to shout out real quick Jay saying that he loves rants in the chat.
They're my kids. They're my kids. So I understand exactly where you're coming from, Shane, and I don't treat it any different. You know what I mean? Like,
and the vapor industry and the alcohol industry, it all needs to be treated the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I wish
you can't just favor one over the other. Like, these are adult products. These are adult vice products. We should just treat it all the same.
Make the shop the same way they do. They're called ABC stores here, the state-run alcohol board.
Yep.
Yeah.
Make the vape shops the same way. There's no issue with doing it that way.
But you know what the sad thing is like the vaping industry, like everybody in the vaping industry in the community, everybody is so willing to just like we'll do whatever. Of course, some people, we want certain things, but it's like everybody is so willing to just like, this is a harm reduction thing. Like, yes, we will do whatever. Everybody's willing to comply and blah 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 blah. And it's like just do whatever you have to do. But it's like when you watch these Juul hearings, it's like the chairman and everybody who's so anti, it's like they're forgetting about the people who smoke, the people who that this could be a cessation tool or just a whatever, just a healthier alternative. Or what about, and then you start talking about T21, and Logan, you were saying it earlier about the people 18 to 20 who were already addicted, who aren't going to be able, who are affected by T21.
Yeah, you're forcing people to wait to have a safer product.
The vaping industry, like everybody is so great in the vaping industry, and the science is with us, and we just want this here. It's a harm reduction thing, and everybody is so cooperative. Like nobody, it's like just do whatever you got to do and
I
just
think the
leave us
problem,
be.
Matt, is
You know
that
what I mean?
honestly, a lot of people are not, though. A lot of people are not on board.
Well,
a lot of people.
We've all been
a
on
lot of
Twitter
people
with
say,
all the
no,
articles that are surfacing. It's like it doesn't help all the negativity and all the lies and all the, you know, what is it of recently, like all these teens or whatever that are vaping like drugs or whatever, but it's vaping, so then it's a big negative impact, you know.
Just a spoiler alert: tomorrow's Rise and Vape show will be on synthetic THC vaping. Because it's a little bit of a crusade that I've been on Twitter recently.
Sorry to ruin Horizon Vape.
No, that's okay. That's
Early
the exact
spoiler.
topic. So anybody curious about synthetic THC vaping and what it's doing right now and how it's being lumped in with the rest of our industry, I'm going to be doing all that tomorrow. Be talking about. But I think the big thing is that a lot of people don't agree in this industry. You know, we can sit here and say that maybe we shouldn't have vape products at convenience stores at all. Maybe they should be only in adult-oriented, adult age-restricted shops. But then you have the other side of the coin where people are going to say, no, what about all the smokers that don't have access to a vape shop and don't have access to the internet, and the only thing that they can go to is a 7-Eleven? Should we say no, those people, because they don't have other access, are now denied a harm reduction tool?
It's just such a convenience factor. Like, I go to the same store every
I
week to get gas, and that's where I
that.
see cigarettes. So if there's a harm reduction thing, like, it should be there. You know what I mean? Like, people like, especially like the older generation, like, nobody is so accustomed to change. Like, I go to, you know, Mobile every Friday for, you know, every week, and it's like I see cigarettes and I buy cigarettes, and then if, you know, if Juul or whatever, if it's not there and available, then these people aren't going to have the option to make the switch. You know what I mean? If it's only dedicated vape shops, it's just...
The other side of that coin, though, is that you're buying these vaping products, these harm reduction tools at a convenience store from somebody that literally does not give a shit about you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big factor. Yeah.
If you're somebody, you know, if you're out there right now and you're watching this replay and you're a smoker and you're considering making the switch, go down to a convenience store and buy a pod, buy a Juul, buy a Vuse, and start there. And if you can successfully go one day without a cigarette, find the closest vape shop and go talk to somebody. Talk to somebody about getting your nicotine lowered. Talk to somebody about getting on an open system where you can choose from all of the amazing flavors that we still currently have in the vapor industry while we have them. And work on lowering your nicotine level and getting off of that closed pod. One, because it's expensive as shit. What you're spending on e-liquid is absolutely ridiculous. And two, you need to have the option to lower your nicotine when you choose to. That option is yours. When you're ready to do that, you can do that with an open pod, or you can do that with an open tank, whatever it is. But right now, if you decide, if you stumble upon this video and you're a smoker, go down to your closest convenience station and go buy some kind of vape. And that first day that you go without a cigarette, go to a vape shop.
Yep. And
that's how it should work.
I have some news here to share with you guys that I converted my first person.
That's great. That's awesome. We need to do a little, you know?
My sister-in-law was a smoker, and we used to smoke together all the time. And she called me the other day and said, hey, I'm trying vaping. It's been 6 days, and I have not had a cigarette. So, great news. She bought a smoke product, so she didn't come to me first. So
Which is why she bought a smoke product.
Exactly. She bought a Novo. I think she said Novo with some creamy tobacco liquid.
Nice.
So, you know, I told her, hey, if you ever want to, stop by the house, we'll go through what I've got. Anything I've got, you're more than welcome to try to get her off of that high nic and try to bring it down whenever she wants to.
Yeah, and if she's using a Novo, it's open. That's an open pot. So right there, she can already, what is she using? Like 45, 50 milligram salts or something right now?
Yeah, she's using the same brand, that's Solace, but it's creamy tobacco, and I think it was
but even in salts, you can start lowering your milligram. You can go from a 50 to a 45 down to I don't know if they do any in the 30 range. I don't see a lot of that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of 25, 24, 20. So you can even go down to that point. And then from there, when you're at, a 20 milligram salt, go pick up a 12 milligram freebase.
Mm-hmm.
The only salts that I use, which is rare, but when I do use salts, it's always 20 to 25. Because I get, personally, about the same throat hit out of a 20 milligram salt that I do out of a 12 milligram freebase. And so it's a very easy way for me to switch back and forth. If I'm in a situation where I know I'm going to have very limited opportunities to vape, I'll grab a pod with a 20 milligram salt in it because, I can just hit it a few times and get, satisfy my craving and be done. Otherwise, I prefer 12 milligram freebase when it comes to mouth to lung. Like if I'm just home MTLing, that's where I'm comfortable. But even I still use salts from time to time, and there's no shame in using different milligram levels for different situations. Like in real open cloudy stuff, I use 3 milligram. In most of my restricted lung setups, I use a 6 milligram. In my mouth to lungs, I use a 12 milligram. And at the end of the day, when you're talking about nicotine by volume, it's all coming out in the wash.
Yeah.
That it's really all just coming out in the wash.
Yeah. I mean, I use a 6 milligram in this little Nord, and I take it with me all the time. I've got
6 milligram in this is 6 milligram in my mouth to lung tonight, but it's just because the last little bit of this raspberry lemonade that I had was 6 milligram, and it's absolutely delicious in the mouth to lung. So I was just like,
I don't blame you.
It is what it is, and there's no shame. There's a lot of people out there that go, well, you're down to 3 milligram. Why would you ever go back up? Because I'm a free fucking American. Yeah. And if I want to use a higher nic level for something, I can. I'm an adult. I pay my taxes. I'm a free fucking American, and it's legal. I'm not using a controlled, scheduled substance. It's nicotine. I get on rants on Twitter sometimes, and I'm just like, people need to calm the fuck down. Like, it's just nicotine. Yeah. We're not talking about heroin here.
And Logan and I have had these discussions all the time. Like I am a non-smoker, and we've gone over this on live streams before. I don't have the cliche story of 10 years, 15 years, 5 years, or whatever it is. I got on here because, well, I'm not going to get into a big, thing, but I got on here because of a reason, and I'm doing it, and I use 0 openly. I use 3. I have 3 in this. It's like, it's a free choice. I'm not going to climb. I'm not going to do 6 and 12. And I mean, hey, if that's what you want to do and you're legal and you're a free American, you can do whatever you like. But
that's the point. And it's one of the things that I like about Matt is he represents a group of people that we don't talk about very often, which is free goddamn Americans.
Yep.
I mean, Matt has a history with struggling with people who have been through lung cancer and smoking, and it's one of the reasons why he advocates so deeply and passionately for this industry is because he's witnessed the devastation that smoking can leave firsthand. But he's also a free American, and he could have very easily picked up a fucking cigarette, and instead he chose to pick up a vape. And that's another group of people that we don't talk about enough. Yeah. It's like Matt is the embodiment of the person that made a smarter choice right out of the gate. Did he make the smartest choice? No, probably not. No.
Smartest
but
choice
at the end of the day, it's still his choice. Like we always say, well, if my kid, if it was my kid and I had the choice between them smoking or vaping, of course I would choose vaping. Matt's that kid.
Yeah.
And Matt's not a kid, don't get me wrong. He's 26, 27, what are you, Matt?
22.
22, okay, whatever.
Close enough.
But he's that person. He's that person that we always make this superficial claim. Of course, I would rather have them vape. Matt is that person. Matt's that person that we always make that argument about. He's here right now. He made that choice to not smoke, and instead, he still wanted to satisfy his lungs with something other than air, and he chose vaping instead.
And that's
huge.
And that's,
you know what I mean? That's the point.
It's a big thing.
People can judge however you want. You can judge me all day. It really doesn't change whether or not I fall asleep at night.
The point is like I don't know too many people who are in the same boat as me, and I have a crazy high level of appreciation of everybody who's quit smoking and gone to vaping, but I view myself as like a category of people that could be, so to speak. Like I'm here, I may not be super crazy with advocacy and stuff, but I started out doing little review videos, and I have I'm in the process of purchasing like a fix for my father who's been a fucking 30-year smoker of Cools, the green or the blue, both, I don't know. And I had a discussion with him not too long ago of like, what's the point in even switching now? Well, there's a big point, and that's what I want to get across. Even being like a non-smoker is the point that like I feel like I represent a group of people that could be advocating and could be making people make the switch in the healthier alternative, and that's that's what it's about. I mean,
yeah, and Matt has a lot of. He's dealt with family. Me and Matt have talked pretty extensively about his story and things like that. He's dealt with it with family, both of his parents and whatever. And here he is, using products, reviewing products to help people stop smoking.
Just to try and get it out there, even if it's
just because he can, because he has the right to. When we're talking about vaping legislation, not only are we talking about health, but we're talking about fundamental we're talking about human rights.
Yeah.
We're talking about the right to a reduced harm product. We're talking about the freedom to choose what you decide to do with your body, with your health, with your money. We're talking about those freedoms. And I think when we decide, if legislation ever passes to ban this in America, you are taking away a fundamental American right.
Yeah. And like when I'm watching these Juul hearings, it's like this chairman and all these antis, it's like you're missing the big point. People who are affected by this aren't just the people who are actually smoking. It's people like me, people who saw my parents, smoke for longer than I've been alive, and who knows how it's affected my health, taking, secondhand smoke and whatnot. And it's like you see people deteriorate from this, and luckily people like yourselves, have made the switch and have had the health benefits of switching, and who knows where you would be at if you still smoked what you used to smoke when you were smoking actual cigarettes. And it's just every time I hear any legislation or any hearings or any of this, it's like I feel like they're forgetting the big thing. We talk about the group of people from 18 to 20, but let's talk about all the smokers who will be affected if you remove banana whatever, or if vaping becomes so restricted, and people either will not turn to vaping or they'll continue smoking, and it's family, it's friends, it's people of, it's your friend's friend, and it goes beyond that. It's like everybody knows somebody who's had a negative health effect from smoking. So it's like all this needs to just, it's like.
Yeah. I want to point out, my views are exactly what Saddle Horse just said. He said, I don't recommend any young person start vaping, but each one that does is one more young person that is not smoking.
Exactly.
And I'm not sitting here to condone youth vaping by any means, but that's a very real point. And to make some asinine argument to say that, yes, this is a 95% safer alternative for adults, but it's not a 95% safer alternative for kids, is absolutely asinine. Like, why is it? When does that percentage change?
Right. It's safer across the board.
It's safer across the board. And we always, like I said earlier, we always make that argument. Well, yeah, if it was my kids and I had to choose, or if my kids were going to do one or the other, I would prefer that they vape. We don't talk about it past that point because it's not a common thing. But people need to understand too that if this narrative was very different and we were winning this whole fight and we completely destroyed the tobacco industry, what do you think the kids are going to pick up?
They're going to pick up a vape.
Because it's going to be the only fucking thing there.
Right.
And we talk about...
why have we never had that conversation?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
But here's the thing. We're not out to destroy the big tobacco. Vaping,
right, and I've talked about this earlier.
I was going to say, you've said how, like, it may not be a common opinion, but tobacco shouldn't be, completely out of existence.
I tweeted about this a while ago. Something along the lines of unpopular opinion, but I don't think tobacco should be banned either.
No.
I just think that people should have choices. People should be able to, if they want to weigh their life in the way of a higher risk product and use tobacco, they should have the right to do that. Just as much as they should also have the opportunity to use a much lower risk product. It should be about choice. Like, it's your body.
Yeah.
The government shouldn't be allowed to tell you what you can put into your own body. They do not own you. When the government tells you what you can and can't do with your own body, that's slavery.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a free American. I'm not a slave. This is my body, and I can choose what I want to put in it. And I choose to use a 95% safer alternative to smoking, which I used to put into my body.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go into the war on drugs and all of that stuff tonight. I'll just leave it at the fact that I don't think anything should be illegal. I think that everything should be legal, and that we should be hyper-focused on education.
Mm-hmm.
As we start to get towards the
that's just my view.
As we start to get towards the end here, I definitely want to know both your opinions as far as, like, hopefully not too lengthy, and I know this is kind of broad, but like just Juul overall. I mean, Logan, you watched the hearings. I just want to know, like, what do you think? Like, are they doing right by things they've done wrong in the past, and kind of like where do you think their future is, and just the whole idea of getting slammed of these two hearings? I know it's pretty broad. I just kind of overall thoughts about the hearings and overall like the future of Juul and what you think we can expect out of them.
I think that Juul makes a product that is safer than smoking, but I also recognize that Juul is also a business to make money.
Of course,
they're here to make money. Yeah. They're here to, and any good business, well, not any good business, however you look at it.
As is big tobacco and big pharma and the government, of course,
businesses in general are here to make money and beat the competition. If you go into business, you don't want to lose to your competition.
Of course not.
You want to beat your competition.
Yeah.
Juul is just a company here to make money, beat their competition. They just so happen to offer a product that's safer than smoking.
Mm-hmm. And
I
don't think Juul's going to go anywhere.
No, absolutely not.
I think they'll be around. Altria is going to secure that.
Yeah.
And make sure that they stay around. But I don't know if Altria will try to influence the board, with their 35% to try to get them to more or less monopolize the closed pod vaping genre.
I believe they are. I believe like Philip Morris is going to give them a hell of a run for their money. I believe other companies are obviously like all the big tobacco brands are going to inevitably all have vapor products in convenience stores.
Yeah,
they all will, and a lot of them have bought up smaller vape companies. They've done all sorts of stuff, and people are always like, well, obviously Juul is bad because Altria bought stock. Like, Altria is just investing in the future of their company. And another thing people forget, Altria is not just tobacco. People forget, Altria owns craft. They own all sorts of shit. Yeah, like, every time that you eat a box of Kraft mac and cheese, you are supporting Altria.
Yep.
Which is phenomenal, by the way.
So that's the point, though. It's like, it's not... They're not just, Altria isn't just some big tobacco thing. Altria owns all sorts of shit.
Yep.
All sorts of shit.
They are a conglomerate. Altria is more or less just the umbrella that's over all these other companies below it.
Absolutely.
And, like Logan said, you may go out and buy something and not even know that you're buying it from Altria.
Yeah, and that's the irony, too. It's like all these, you've got anti-tobacco campaigners that go out, and again, they go home and they feed a box of Kraft mac and cheese to their kids.
They have no clue. Yeah, you
have no clue.
Against
Altria.
Yeah, you have no clue who you're supporting. Yeah.
Yeah, they have no idea, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, down with Altria, eat your dinner, kids. It's just, you don't even fucking know. You don't even know.
Eat your mac and cheese. I need to find my Johnson & Johnson Band-Aid.
Right, right. And it's like, people don't even understand. You know, they think Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, talking about Johnson & Johnson, Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids was funded by the Johnson Foundation. That's Johnson & Johnson, one of the, you know, we're talking about one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world, right next to GlaxoSmithKline, like Pfizer. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, they think these campaigns, and people also don't understand how tight-knit the tobacco and the pharmaceutical industry is. Where do you think the chemicals that go into cigarettes come from? Where do you think the pharmaceutical-grade nicotine comes from? You know, in all of these other products. That's from pharma. Where do you think the filter pharma? Like, pharma and tobacco are just...
Oh, yeah. It's a big circle. We've talked about this plenty of times.
Yeah, they're so interwoven.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to look at the IQOS. Who do you think made the, what do they call them, heats? Who do you think came up with that? Big Pharma.
It's yeah.
They had to have somebody involved because...
Where do you think they got the propylene glycol that they dipped it all in?
Exactly. You know, but what I want to see, and this is off subject, but I want to see the study of the chemicals in the tobacco that's used in the IQOS.
They claim that it's just dried, cured, ground tobacco.
Okay, but here's the thing. Is it Philip Morris's tobacco?
Oh, Christ only knows, man. I don't even,
I was about to say, that's
Morris knows half the time where their tobacco comes from.
But that's what I'm saying. Think about all the chemicals and stuff that they add to their tobacco that goes into their cigarettes.
Oh, yeah. When you start talking about MAOIs, you start talking about pyrazines, you start talking about all these other additives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is all of that included in the heat? That's my question. Because if they put all that into a cigarette,
I can't answer that.
Yeah, that's the study that I want to see. I want to see the study of here is tobacco from a Marlboro Red versus
there's like
tobacco from
and that right there is a fat stack of ammunition that will probably
there is like a million-page PMTA that you can read.
A million. Hope you're free for a couple weeks.
It's like trying to read through the terms and services on anything you've ever agreed to.
Yeah.
And when you find it, it's somewhere in the middle and you can't read it.
Which is the biggest lie that we all tell in our lives is I have read and agreed to the terms of services.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll put that on book on tape for me so I can listen to it back and forth to work.
Just sit and listen to. Dude, it would take you like months to get through just like, oh, cool, I finally... Oh, wait, that was just Facebook? Oh, we're starting Twitter now? Oh, shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd be into it for years.
Oh, yeah. But that's the study that I would like to see, because I don't think there's going to be any difference in the tobacco that's used in their cigarette and in their...
I'm going to see if I can find it. I was just reading kind of an updated thing on the continuum of risk, basically. God damn it. From the... I believe it was from the UK, and it was like one of the few public health organizations that had kind of held back something, Foundation for Lung Disease or Association of Lung Disease or something like that from the UK. And they were kind of one of the few UK public health organizations that were still kind of on the fence about vaping, and they recently updated saying yes, and even they're on board now for vapor products. And somewhere in that article, that official statement from them, they talk about heat not burn technology and e-cigarettes still being safer than that, still being less harmful than that. So, but again, I don't think there were any percentages listed anywhere or anything like that, but I did read that recently, and I'm gonna see if I can find it. I literally have, I think I broke the 300 bookmark thing in my phone recently, because I just bookmark stuff. Because on Twitter, dude, I just have pages of like somebody will be like, oh, fucking popcorn lung, and I'm like, here's 40 fucking links to disprove your bullshit. Like, boom, like
one of these.
Yeah. Like I'm just like, oh really? Where's your science? Because here's mine.
Yeah.
You know.
Science bills, y'all.
Yeah, like I just make it rain science. That's it. So that's one of those things, though. Is I think we as a community, we have a responsibility to share the articles and the links and the studies that we find. Exactly. And that's one thing I was talking about with Poon Sauce with Corey earlier about how Twitter is my home base. I'm on Instagram and I post on Instagram and I share stuff on Instagram, but it's not.
But it's just it's a different world. It's
not where
it's like
not what I gravitate to. Yeah. I gravitate towards Twitter because I can talk to politicians, because I can talk to doctors on Twitter, because I can get a hold of what these organizations are saying right now. I can share links, I can share the data, I can share the science right then and there, and I don't have to jump through a million fucking hoops to get somebody a link on Instagram.
Exactly. And one thing I want to mention, we had Reaper, Matthew Elliott, on our show last week, and he said something that really got to me. He was talking about, like, Instagram. You can post all you want on Instagram. Who's going to see it? People that
That's what I said earlier.
That follow you. It's an echo chamber.
I talked about this. If you go back and you watch the Rise and Vape show where I talked about Twitter versus Instagram, I said the same thing. Yeah. It's like standing in a room and just yelling at the same people. Mm-hmm. The people that already know it. The people you're just talking to the same people. You're not reaching the people that need this information. You're not reaching your legislators on Instagram. You're not reaching your lawmakers. You're not reaching out to doctors. Mm-hmm. Fuck, I at our Surgeon General on Twitter at least once a week.
All the time.
Like, I ride on the heels of Jerome Adams because, one, I think he's a corrupt piece of garbage. But I'm constantly in every thread that he posts, I'm there talking about advocacy. So that way everybody that opens that thread to see what people are saying underneath it, I'm there. I'm one of those posts, and I'm providing data, and I'm providing science right there for everybody. Twitter has a much broader reach when we're talking about public health than Instagram will ever have.
Yep.
And I still love Instagram. Don't get me wrong. I still post hand checks from time to time.
No, Instagram is great, but it's just, Twitter is the spot to be at. You can have an average person on Twitter, and they see whatever, they type in a hashtag e-cigarette or whatever, and it could be something that you hashtag, a big advocacy post, and that's all it takes. Are they going to find that on Instagram? Are they even on Instagram? You know what I mean? It's just...
Yeah.
Instagram has its place, and Logan's talked about this plenty of times, and we all know it. Instagram has its place for certain things, and you can post advocacy all you want. I saw an awesome post from, Vaping Bogan, as far as how many smokers die a year in the U.S., globally, and blah, blah. I think everybody saw that story. So that's great, but Twitter is the battleground, so to speak. Like, Twitter is where, people like us can debunk people who are, vaping causes this, and popcorn lung this, and more seizures this. It's like Twitter is where we can really get our point across, because it's just that simple to, I don't want to say attack, but it's just that simple to post a link, or like Jay said in the chat here, making it rain links to people who are just beyond wrong, spewing wrong information or just flat out lies. Me and Logan, or everybody who's on Twitter, we've seen plenty of the bot accounts that are just retweeting and spitting out this nonsense,
Yeah, and I will tell you right now, if it's not a major organization for the most part, if you are on Twitter and you disprove somebody's whatever narrative, there's a good chance you're going to be instantly blocked.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people literally will not tolerate somebody challenging their narrative.
Right.
It's as easy as a couple clicks.
It's crazy. That's all it is. I just tweeted the other day flat out saying, like, basically, if your only defense to an argument is to block somebody, you're a coward. And I'm going to tell this to anybody who gets on Twitter to advocate. Do not block people. Have the conversation. Grow a backbone. Know what you're going to say. Get your links. Do your due diligence. Get the research, and don't back down. Don't block an anti-person or block somebody because they're disagreeing with you. Don't be a coward. Have the conversation and fight for the industry. Because the cowards are the anti-groups that refuse to have the conversation, that refuse to look at the science. Those people are cowards.
Yep.
This industry is full of brave, amazing people. You all saved your own life. That's an incredible feat. Don't stop there. No. Get involved. Don't be a coward, and fight for other people to have the right to save their lives as well.
And people are, you know, passionate and emotional, but everybody is here to have an adult discussion. It doesn't have to be like, you know, crazy drama arguing and the replies and everything. Like, everybody is willing to just have an adult discussion, and, you know, we have plenty of links and whatnot to support us. It's just everybody's willing to hear each other. Of course, there's some people that aren't, you know, there's plenty of antis that are crazy, and there's plenty of pros that are crazy, but for the most part, everybody that's in this community is here has saved themselves, and they're just trying to save others, and that's, you know, that's what it's all about. And Twitter, like we're talking about, Twitter is just a huge front, you know, for that. It's a huge area, and that's, you know, that's what it's all about.
Yep.
So. All right, I think I'm done ranting for tonight.
I hear you. So
I apologize to everybody.
Hey, don't apologize.
I get on rants, man. I get passionate, and
yeah.
That's what this is all about. That's what this is all about, buddy. We want to. We're trying to, you know.
Yeah, we love the passion. You know,
I try to just encourage people to you know, basically what Shane does, to use your voice, to say something, to stand up.
Without emotion and passion, we might as well be making a telemarketing phone call for you to switch to e-cigarettes. You know? I mean,
hello, is this that guy Matt? Can I talk to you about your life insurance? Are you a smoker?
Exactly. So, awesome show. Love both of you guys. Thanks so much for coming out, Shane. Totally appreciate you know, the message. I'm super, you know, I'm honored to have you. It's awesome.
Hey, thanks.
Jay's, you know, enjoying his vacation. I know he wanted to get in on this tonight. Like I said, we will make a...
Jay, we're going to be reaching out to you and Shane both to have a collaborative...
Wisdom in the Clouds. Wisdom in the Clouds is what we'll call it, or something. You know, something funny like that. We'll have, you know, both you guys, because you guys are both great. You're awesome in the community.
Can it be like Nimbus Wisdom? Can it be like a cloud? Like Nimbus? All right, I'm done.
It's got to be.
Sorry, it was a dumb idea. Cumulonimbus.
The names. Can we get some of that Nimbus wisdom? You ever heard of that? Do you have?
Dude, that sounds like a really amazing cannabis strain.
Yeah.
Like, I want to walk into a shop. Can I get some of that cumulonimbus wisdom?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that a sativa? Sorry. All right, go ahead.
I'm about to elevate my mind.
I will literally be in the clouds.
Yeah.
But just want to thank Logan. You know, great co-host that you are. I want a huge shout out to Shane. Thank you for you know, for being here and all that you do and all that Jay does. If he's still here in the chat, appreciate both you guys. I get my weekday wisdom and my weekend wisdom. You know, so I guess at this point, if you guys want to shout yourself out,
I'm waiting for the Monday through Sunday wisdom.
Every day. They just do like an hour every day because it's just that necessary and everybody appreciates it just that much.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Veto that. He tells me all the time, "You do too many shows," and I was like, "I do 2 a week." That's too much.
I'm trying to save 500,000 people a year, honey. 2 shows is not a lot to ask for.
So yeah, we don't have the banners running this week. So Shane, if you wanna shout yourself out, you know, your channel, your Twitter, Instagram, wherever you're at, socials, you know, feel free. Throw it in the chat or whatever.
Instagram, Twitter, you know, I've got a channel on here. It's been kind of inactive. I've been extremely busy, but I am going to get back to uploading videos soon, maybe within the next week or 2. I've been doing a lot of research on FDA funding and OSHA funding, and I want to kind of compare the two and see where we are and see where we need to be with that. And also doing a study on my own. Somebody had mentioned to me not too long ago about how propylene glycol and vegetable glycerin are in a lot of different things, but it's in things you eat. So it doesn't affect your stomach, but how does it affect your lungs?
And one of those things that you can look at is I would again suggest that you look into the Nicotrol inhaler. because that is a product that is an inhalant product. I would look heavily into inhalant medications, asthma medications, albuterols, things like that utilize propylene glycol as a carrier liquid.
Right.
Sounds like it sounds like people need to turn on their post notifications for Shane, and
absolutely.
It sounds like he's got content coming. It sounds like he's got It sounds like he's got some good content coming. So if you're in the chat, and if you don't already, I would suggest whatever social media that you have, you're following Shane. Make sure you turn on those post notifications, because it sounds like he's got some good stuff brewing. He's got some good stuff coming. I'd jump on that. I'm gonna jump on that. I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled.
Matt's gonna pull a Tom and Jerry with the
tape on the eyelids. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, toothpicks on the eyelids.
There you go.
Logan, you shout yourself out every week. Everybody knows Logan Exhales Twitter, Logan Exhales Instagram for the occasional hand checks. I'm sure I'm gonna shout it out for him. Check out his the Ryzen Vape on Instagram, Discord. If you're into Discord, if you don't know what Discord is, it's an awesome. Tell them what Discord is, Logan. I don't even want to. I'll just tell them what Discord is.
Just a chat room. It's basically just a private chat room with multiple members, different channels, different topics, things like that you can be involved in. You simply just join the server, create an account, join the server, and there's different topics, different channels that you can poke into and get involved in and whatever. And on the Ryzen Vape Discord, we try to share a lot of advocacy stuff in our advocacy and news channel. We have a hand check channel, so if you just want to share your stuff, if you're somebody that isn't very open on other social medias, it's a where you're just with other vapors, you're just with other members of the community, and we just wanted to provide that space for people that might not venture into other social medias as much, just to give them a little bit of a smaller area and a community for them to be a part of.
And I want to point out that it's awesome, and that there's plenty of awesome people in this community that's willing to help you out regarding so many things. Like Logan mentioned, advocacy and news, but we have a big safety section going on. Any kind of questions you have regarding Ohm's law and battery safety and all of that, and everybody in this Discord is just so willing to help you in whatever way. Like if you want to be there for hand checks, or Shane, go on.
No, I was just gonna say I recommend Discord for especially any new vapor. I was a dual user for a while, and once I got into Discord, I had more of a support system. And that was exactly what I needed to be able to drop the cigarettes, which, looking at the date, I have 4 days before my 1-year anniversary.
Congrats. Big congrats. That sounds like a smoke-free shout-out on the next...
Shane, you are actually already officially going to be in tomorrow's smoke-free shout-outs.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
You posted in the Discord. I screenshotted it. I'm going to put it up there.
That's awesome. A big congrats.
You're already set up. I already have the graphic made.
Big congrats on that. That's awesome.
Way to ruin the surprise, Shane.
Sorry, man.
No, I'm just kidding.
God damn it.
What I was going for is that support system is huge. The Discord people, and I'm in the Ryzen Vape Discord, the Vape Stew Discord, and a couple of other ones, but the support system that's there is a huge impact. And it's not just you're making friends, man, you're making family.
Exactly.
These two guys here are like brothers to me. Anytime they ever needed anything, I would be there. Logan and I are supposed to meet up next year when I'm up in the Rochester area. So, and it's just something that has made such an impact on me that I want to share that with other people, and I want other people to come in and just receive this. It's a gift. It's a gift of more friends, more family. And it's such a great impact on your life. I work all the time. I have family, I have kids, but I always try to make time to come in here and just hang out, see how everybody's doing, make sure nobody needs anything, safety advice, anything like that. And it's just a great thing that's out there for new vapors, old vapors. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, and it's available and it's that easy. Logan, and Shane yourself. Logan has taught me so much about mechs. Before I even got into a mech, you must remember Logan. I discussed so much, and I've asked Shane about things and other people in the Discord.
It'd be 10 o'clock at night, and I'd get a message.
And it would be Matt asking about,
so am I doing my math right? Am I doing this right? Like, where do I go to buy authorized batteries?
But now I use mechs, and I'm confident using mechs because of the knowledge that I've gained through Discord and through people like Logan and Shane. And it's just like the community is there, people are there, and everybody's willing to help. And it's so simple as reaching out in a message and joining a Discord, and it's the difference between stories that we hear online about people blowing their jaws
I just
apart
wanted to say,
stuff like that.
If anybody out there is interested in joining the Rise and Vape Discord, all it takes is just DMing me. I'm just going to ask you to verify that you're over 21. Just because we try to keep it as legitimate as possible in there. I try to not have any problems. So whether that's, you just taking a quick picture of your photo ID or something like that, sending it to me, I'm not going to save it. I don't care what your address is. I don't care. I just want to make sure that you're of age. And then that's it. You're in. Boom. Done.
It's that simple. So
unless I personally know you and I know that you're over the age of 21, but if you're not, or your picture isn't the fact of you being 65, I'm gonna be like, hey, no. But yeah, it's that simple, and everybody is welcome. Everybody is welcome in the Rise and Vape Discord. Everybody is welcome in the Rise and Vape community. Everybody, and it doesn't matter what other communities you're in. It doesn't matter if you're super active. If you'd like to join, you're more than welcome. Just DM me.
And on that note, I want to thank everybody that came out. I think we saw some new faces, if I'm correct, Logan. I think we saw a couple new people.
A couple new people, and a couple people that are in our Discord, in our community,
which is great.
Jay,
Appreciate
Texas
that.
Cloud Town, obviously Shane. Raging Vapor, he's part of the Rise and Vape Discord. Me and him talk regularly.
Poon Sauce came out. I don't know if he's still here, but Poon Sauce, appreciate that. That's awesome. Well, totally appreciate that. Just to everybody that's been excuse me, active in the chat and just here watching, and totally appreciate it. Like Logan said, check out the Discord, check us out on all our social medias. We're doing our best to get advocacy and news, and we're here every Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and on that note, I have nothing else to say.
Also, shameless plug, we are exactly 4 weeks away from the first Rise and Vape podcast.
Ooh.
The brand new Yeti is on its way.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm excited for that.
So to anybody out there who, listens to podcasts, I consume podcasts on the daily.
We need to get people excited about the Rise and Vape podcast. Logan, tell them what it's going to be streaming on. Do you know what platform you're going to be streaming on yet?
We're going to be on SoundCloud. We're going to be on Apple. Probably not Spotify because Spotify sucks.
Spotify sucks. Hashtag so Spotify sucks.
I think probably just Apple, like iTunes podcasts and on SoundCloud.
Well, we're excited. We're excited to see what you got, you and Becky. And
yeah, Raging Vapor, you would definitely have to fight Becky for this streamer, 100%. And she's a scrapper, let me tell you.
She got the short hair. It's probably pretty easy to tie up and start throwing knuckles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Or throwing cats. She probably wouldn't throw her own cat.
She used to dance, so I would watch out for the high kicks.
The high kicks.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, the feet get going. That's when you know she's mad, when the feet get going.
This has been an absolute awesome live stream. Once again, thanks, Logan. Thanks, Shane, for coming out. Too bad. We'll figure out something with Jay. We said that a few times tonight, but I think at this point we want to end it. We're getting pretty lengthy. It's been awesome. I've had a blast. Once again, thanks to everybody who's come out. And
I know I've basically been live today since like 5:30, like
so
4
long.
hours now.
Logan is on the long stretch here, and I'm sure he loves it. He's talking about how long it is, but he loves it. But once again, thanks to everybody who came out. Thank you for being active in the chat. Hitting that like button or checking us out on our social medias. We appreciate all of it. And like everybody says in their videos, it doesn't matter what you're vaping on. Whatever you got, as long as you're not smoking. And just keep fighting a good fight. Logan, you got something? Looks like you got something you want to add.
No, I was picking a vape. I thought we were going to do the thing.
We're going to do the thing? We're going to do the thing. So, yeah,
we're going to do the
you know,
thing. I picked up the caliber and went up.
Just keep vaping, everybody. You know, that's what it's all about.
That's the best